Hello, everybody. Congratulations on making finals. Before we begin here, I see that a lot of you guys are triple entered. Did any of you guys break in all three categories? Okay, can I just get your guys' names?
I'm Lydia Voss. I speak first already, so.
I'm Alice Hovenden. I am fourth speaker, I believe.
Okay, so we'll have you two go first and second, and then did anyone
I'm double entered, but I'm scheduled to speak last in both rounds, so if I can be moved up, any chance, that'd be sick.
Okay. I'm gonna just go first then. And then anybody else double break? Cool. All right. Can one of the other judges, can you guys time? Cool. All right.
If anyone wants time signals, just let me know.
So we can get started here with Prem.
Here, give me 1 sec. And then can I get time signals, please? 2 at 8, 1 at 9, and the fist at 10 if I get there. Okay, awesome. And before I begin speaking, I just want to offer a quick trigger warning for depictions of assault. So if you feel the need to turn your video off and grab a drink of water when I'm at that part of my speech, I totally understand. Okay, cool. And then can I just start whenever? All three judges. Period. Okay, cool.
Every gay down in Gayville liked gay marriage a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just east of Gayville, did not. Oh, the Grinch hated happy gays the whole marriage season. Please don't ask why. Nobody quite knows the reason. He growled with his Grinch fingers, nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop gay marriage from coming.
Someday, I want to be a rich gay. So let's do this the right way. If I were a rich gay, yabba-dee-ba-labba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dum, I want to be glittered. This always glittering voice. See, I am told glitter is a feminine thing. And if it is to you, that's totally valid. But sometimes the closest I feel to passing as a thing no one has a word for is to look as DIY as my name. I want to breathe. Dip, flex, twirl, twerk. See, queerness has never been more visible, more trending, more in demand, and yet our lives and our joy in this marginalized body has always been a form of resistance. Last spring, when school was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, it meant a day of celebration for my peers. However, for me, it was a day of sadness. Places such as school and theater and even speech have provided me spaces to be comfortable with my queer identity. However, at home, this is a luxury I am not allowed. The Queer Joy Project of May 25th, 2020 asserts that when spaces and feelings vital to express our queer identity are robbed from us, we queer people are deprived of the one feeling that provides us resilience: joy. And in an age where LGBTQ+ communities across America, including the one in this space, are as far apart from each other as we've ever been, it's critical that we need to revitalize our collective joy to show those outside of our community that we know more than pain and trauma. We know happiness, and we are resilient. So with the poetry, If I Were a Rich Gay by Hibby, Glitter, An Explanation I Do Not Owe by Miles Taylor, articles from Them, The Medium, and the New York Times, prose, Ecstatic Resilience by Elise Smith, The Grinch That Stole Gay Marriage by Marianne Horton, And the drama, Glee, Season 2, Episode 8, Furt by Ryan Murphy. Happy to be here. A program. Because our greatest weapon to combat hatred is happiness.
I must stop gay marriage from coming. But how?
We stopped and we stuffed dollar bills into each other's thongs. This makes our public expressions of joy particularly potent. See, for everybody, finding joy is one of the most important things in life. Finding ways to be glittered. This child's craft project I have always been. I cover myself with glitter because I'm always effectively covered in glitter. I wear men's everything but might as well be dressed in a ball gown.
I know what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. Then he went to his closet, grabbed his sheet and hood. With this beard and this cross, I look just like our Lord. All I need is scripture, but true scripture is scarce. There was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? Oh no! The Grinch simply said, with no scripture on marriage, I'll fake one instead. It's one man and one woman, the Grinch falsely said.
Look, for me, finding queer joy is about finding your inner pride parade every day. See, queer joy is about insisting on our humanity, not having allies calling us brave. I mean, what are we? The worst Pixar movie? Get away from me. I said, get away from me. Whoa. Kurt. Are you okay? No. He didn't hurt me. He just terrified me.
It was dawn. Oh, the gays still abed. Oh, the gays still a snooze. When the Grinch packed up and fled, pooh to the gays, he was Grinchishly humming. They're finding out now, no gay marriage is coming. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then all the gays in Gayville will cry, boo.
It's the fear that's the worst. I can't even concentrate. I don't even feel like I'm a part of this school at all. I feel like I'm in some horror movie. And this creature, this monster, this being follows me around everywhere I go. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know what's going inside of his head. I mean, finding joy in this marginalized body is hard. Finding joy is hard. See, my body congratulates itself every day because every queer person I know knows a queer person who has died. And here I stand wondering if I'm next, wanting to mourn those who can no longer dance. We channel those who are not yet safe enough to come out yet. When we gather, we dance. When we gather, we manifest. We sweat, sparkles, and glitter. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, but there was queer. There was happiness. See, we are happy, but we can't breathe without someone telling us, someone reminding us that God hates faggots. God hates faggots. God hates faggots. God hates. No. Please. Ah! Please, stop. Please. there is magic in our body, sparkle to our survival, and there is glitter to our mascara. And when they try to dance to the rhythm of our heartbeats, we remind them that we are happy. They will never get me down.
The Grinch looked down at Gayville and he popped his eyes. See, what he there saw was a shocking surprise. Every gay down in Gayville was kissing. He hadn't stopped marriage from coming. Oh no, it came. Somehow or the other, it came. Maybe marriage, he thought, doesn't come from the courts. Maybe marriage comes right from the heart. And in Gayville, they say, the Grinch's small brain grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his life didn't feel quite so like a drag, he himself hung the gay rainbow flag.
And may I be excused to my next round?
You may. Good luck.
Thank you.
Time was 9:32.
We'll keep it moving here. Our next speaker is Lydia.
Can you all hear and see me okay? And then, can I get a 1 at 9 and fist at 10 for time signals? All right, thank you.
Left, 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 right, left. Got a letter in the mail. Go to war or go to jail. Sat me in that barber's chair. Spun me round. Ah! I had no hair as a child. Seeing men and women in uniform, I thought, wow, I want to grow up and be just like them. They were like real life superheroes. That was my main motivation, to join the military. There is just so much pressure on women. As little girls were taught, there's something that you have that everybody else wants. You have to protect it. And that's a lot of pressure. And I would like a break. Military rape law did not begin until the late 1980s. When it happens, you will not understand why. Not you with your knotted bun. Despite these efforts, sexual assault in the military is still rising. Those pants don't flaunt. That vest doesn't hug your waist. The U.S. Secretary of Defense has ruled that rape is an occupational hazard for military personnel. Left, 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 right, left. This is a war between your body and your country. Which side are you on? In 2020, following the rape, disappearance, and murder of soldier Vanessa Guillen in Fort Hood, Texas, the U.S. military was largely critiqued for its attempt to cover the story up. However, this evasive tactic the military used is not new. It is a historic practice. In 2020, 20,000 service members reported being sexually assaulted by a peer or superior. 74% of those reports faced retaliation for speaking out, and half were told to drop it. These numbers send a clear message. You can protect your country, but we will protect your rapist. So using poetry by Olivia Gatwood and R.J. Wright. Prose Protect Our Defenders. Drama Sick and Tired, and articles from The Hill and the New York Times. War Torn. A program. Used to be a beauty queen, now I date my M16. I turned 18, and about a week later, I was shipped off to basic training. You felt like you were on top of the world. You felt like you were the strongest person and that nothing or no one could knock you down. I had never felt so accomplished. After completing basic training was the funniest place I was never allowed to laugh. Detail, attention, but do not be fooled by your body armor. These men love it when you dress like this, when you smell like this, when you wrap a beautiful gift in ugly paper like this. You know what would make my life just so much easier? And ladies, wouldn't you love this? Wouldn't it be wonderful if our lady parts were detachable? Okay, I'm gonna let that one marinate a little bit. A third of victims are discharged after reporting, typically within 7 months of making a report. Victims received harsher discharges. After graduation, I got sent to the Air Defense Artillery. The females were outnumbered quite dramatically, I remember. It was around 3 o'clock. I was in bed and my friend was in a chair next to me, watching a movie. I was almost asleep when we heard a knock at the door. My friend answered, and my commander said he wanted to talk to me. And then my friend walked out of the room. But just think about it! Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could leave our goodies at home sometimes? Just think of the freedom that you can have. For example, you get home from work. It's getting a little late outside, and you're like, oh, I would have just loved to go for a jog. I can just leave it at home. So, you're jogging. And you're enjoying yourself. When all of a sudden, a crazy guy jumps out of a bush like, ah! Oh, wait. I left it at home. Sorry, I have absolutely nothing of value on me. You are the solution, darling. You are the pill, the bourbon, the anatomical shrink. Doesn't that make you feel worth something? Mama, can't you see what this army's done for me? Yeah. He pulled me out of bed, and he started to kiss me while holding me against a wall. I just kept asking him what he wanted to talk about, just trying to get a response out of him. But he said nothing. he didn't stop when I told him to. Or when I started crying. Or when I pushed back. Retaliation is the norm. 64% of women who face sexual assault face retaliation. They took me to my lieutenant and he just kept asking me, do you think that this is funny? Do you think that this is a joke? There have been 3 girls that have reported rape here in the past week. Do you think that this is some type of game? Shh! This is not a game of tattletale. You are not a victim. You are a liability. When he uses his hands like a steel ram, treat your body like a locked door. Remember, he's not been taught to knock first. When he doesn't respond to the sound of your voice, remember, he's forgotten the sound of his wife's. How can you possibly blame an animal for its lack of table manners? Mama, can't you see? This army life is killing me. This army life is killing me. Fear is marching next to the enemy, but shooting at a stranger. Fear is a loaded barrel and not knowing who to kill. This is a war between your body and your country. Which side are you on? And then may I please be excused to my other events?
Yes, you may. Good luck.
Time is 10:09.
Alrighty. Our next speaker is Alice.
Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm just checking to make sure everyone can hear and see me okay. Awesome, sounds good. I don't need any time signals, don't worry about that. Awesome.
We are taught from the moment we leave our pink nurseries that we are collapsible paper dolls, light to hold, easier to crumble, that as women our worth lives secretly wrapped in lace and cotton panties, our fragility armored in mace and pepper spray. They say 1 in 3 women will be raped or sexually abused in their lifetime. I am 1 of 3 daughters.
Oh, hi. My name is Dana Moore Storms. I'm a former cheerleading coach and a mother of a 13-year-old daughter. I'm here today to talk about the lawsuit concerning Jerry Harris. He seemed supportive at first. We thought he understood us. Larry's had seemed like a voice of rationality. When I was alone with him, even when he seemed to be crossing a line, he would often distract me by saying how great I was doing in training sessions. Larry had my back. He had everyone's back. Didn't he? Larry Nassar served as the national team doctor for USA Gymnastics beginning in 1995. Later, in 2017, he was sentenced to 60 years in a federal prison for over 150 sexual misconducts involving minors. Stories such as Larry Nassar's, Harvey Weinstein's, and too many others seem to follow a certain trend. This trend being that wherever we find an unhealthy power dynamic between children and adults, we will find exploitation and abuse. I myself have experienced this exploitation. As a child, I loved the sport of gymnastics. However, beginning at the age of 8, I was mentally, verbally, and sexually abused by a coach I was told to trust. Situations such as these need to be stopped in their tracks, and big corporations such as USA Gymnastics need to be held accountable for their employees. The culture has to change. So with the prose Fierce by Aly Raisman, the poetry Paper Dolls by Sarah DeMulder, Girl Code 101 by Blythe Blaird, various articles from The Guardian, and the official transcript of Aly Raisman's testimony, I present No Innocent Abuse, a program. Because as a survivor, my story matters, and so does yours. Speak up. Girl Code 101, we are the finaglers, the exceptions, the girls who haven't run a mile in 4 years, who layer deep V-necks with excuses. We are the girls taught to survive by using our bodies as Swiss Army knives. We convince ourselves there is protection in being polite. Girls, we have to be nice. Male kindness is so alien to us, we assume it is seduction every time. Shh. The lawsuit against Harris and the cheer organizations was filed on behalf of two 15-year-old boys. One who said Harris sent him nude photos via Instagram and Snapchat and asked him to perform oral sex on him at a cheer competition. The first time I met Larry, I was 15 and in a foreign country without my parents. He was a doctor, and everyone said he was the very best, how lucky we were to have him around. Who was I, just a mere teenager with no medical training, to say any different or to question his methods? Imagine each victim is an acrobat, her sanity a balancing act. Our response is the unfailing safety net. We never expect to see her across the wires. The USASF is supposed to take any allegation of sexual misconduct very seriously. However, when they were informed of Harris and his previous allegations, they didn't investigate, supervise, or monitor him in any way. We remember age 9, the first time we are catcalled. 12 fraudulent bodies calling us women before we have the chance to. 13 is a year Dad says wearing short skirts in the city is like driving without a seatbelt. 17, we know the answer, but do not raise our hands. Instead, we are answering to the guidance counselors who ask us, well, what were you wearing? It wasn't until I started seeing other doctors and athletic trainers that I became aware that their methods were far from Larry's. They never made me feel uncomfortable or like they were crossing any lines. But it was different with Larry. I would lie on the table, my hands involuntarily balling themselves into fists as his ungloved hands worked their way under my clothing. I think the culture of the sport kind of created this unfortunate and perfect breeding ground for children to be taken advantage of. Because I spent so much time in the gym, training, traveling, and, well, competing, I was sheltered, innocent. Which is probably why I didn't question why Larry would sometimes close his eyes or seem out of breath when he worked on me. I mean, more than once I made excuses for his strange behavior. He must be tired from a long day, I would think. And I wondered why he made me feel so uncomfortable. You weren't just violated, we tell her. You are an empty museum, a gutted monument to what used to hold so much worth. Don't stand too tall, don't act too strong. We will name you denial. Come back when you are ready to crumble like your bones are made of chalk. This is not female privilege. This is survival of the prettiest. We are playing the first game we learned how to. We are the asses smacked by boys who made welcome mats of our yoga pants. We are the girls petrified of the business school boys who learned to manifest success by refusing to take no. We had been so manipulated. I mean, of course, Larry had known what he was doing. He had taken advantage of me. He had taken advantage of everyone that he targeted, of our youth, of our innocence, of our trust in the adults there to help us. He had seen how hard I worked and understood how unlikely I was to complain or to question authority. I mean, I was a young girl with Olympic goals. How was I supposed to know? You can only laugh cutely or cry beautifully. So cry beautifully, we will catch you. We are calling it theft, as if he could pluck open your ribs like cello strings, pocket your breasts, steal what makes your heart flutter, and tack its wings to his walls. Putting policies in place to protect minors is expensive. And it's time-consuming, and it costs relationships, but it has to be done. We took him to court. Larry, do you realize that we, this group of women you so heartlessly abused for so many years, are now a force, and you are nothing? The tables have turned, Larry. We have our voices, and we are not going anywhere. So now, Larry, it is your turn to listen to me. Some days you will feel dirty. Some weeks you'll remember how hard it is to breathe in public, but know this: the person who did this to you is broken, not you. The person who did this to you is out there choking on the glass of his chest. It is a windshield, and his heartbeat is a baseball bat. I'm not going to go into specifics about what Larry did to me, because that information is private. But to anyone hearing this, you matter. Your story matters. You deserve to feel safe. It is as simple as that. There is no shame in asking questions and insisting on getting answers. Nothing was stolen from you. Your body is not a hand-me-down. There's nothing that sits inside you holding your worth. No locket that can be seen or touched. I know it's hard to feel perfect when you can't tell an Adam's apple from a fist. Some ashtray of a man picked you to play his Eden. But I will not watch you collapse. Thank you. And if it's all right, could I be excused my next event?
Yes, you may. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Good luck, everyone.
Time is 10:09.
Right. Our next speaker is Allison.
All right, can you see and hear me okay? Perfect. For time signals, can I have a 1 at 9 and a fist at 10? Thank you so much.
I got pregnant to create something new. Pop goes the balloon, pink glitter fills the air around my closest ones, and everyone lost their minds. In an instant, this tiny light inside me transformed from a human to a she. As beautiful and as perfect as she was in my young eyes, I always wondered why Ariel from The Little Mermaid didn't have any girlfriends. The only friends she had were male. Flounder, Sebastian, Scuttle. Look closely at the classic fairy tales of our childhood. You'll notice that the female protagonists have no women around them as friends.
It's a subtle part of the plot that often gets overlooked, but it can have tremendous impacts on the way we interact with the women in our lives.
You know what, Kitty? You're like actually really pretty.
Thank you, Regina.
So, you agree? What? You think you're really pretty?
I didn't say that.
Well, the way that I think about it, there's ugly, there's pretty, and average. You meet average.
What just happened? Toxic femininity. Okay, it's not the same thing as simple sexism. Okay, sexism says a woman is too frail or docile to play a contact sport. Toxic femininity says you don't want to play football anyway, sweetie. You would look horrible and sweaty in a helmet and pads. Sexism is focused on robbing women of status and rights. Toxic femininity is about defining womanhood so shallowly that a woman feels degendered by basic human acts or neutral preferences. Fueled by pink glitter, this tiny light took on a new shape in everyone's imagination, transforming a she into a doll. She had taken my way forward to a way backward, and the women who celebrate her in the haze of pink glitter will also be her captive makers. Guess hers wasn't the only balloon to burst. Our current cultural examination of toxic gender roles is focused mainly on men and masculinity. However, focusing only on the harm done by men ignores and often excuses the harm that women put on ourselves and each other. We all must examine our roles in these toxic behaviors because we cannot change what we will not acknowledge. For decades, the feminine fairy tale has been injected into the women's psyche, transforming beauties into beasts, and causing women to believe that they must undermine and sabotage in order to thrive. And although this poison apple rarely kills, its toxic sweetness is causing damage that we are only beginning to uncover. And there's too much progress to be gained in the world right now, especially as young women finally see themselves represented in the highest of places. So, through the poetry Expecting by Maren Kelly, 9 Things I Want to Tell Every Teenage Girl by Melissa Newman Evans, the screenplay, Mean Girls by Tina Fey, the articles Toxic Femininity Holds All of Us Back by Devin Price, and Why Do We Teach Women to Hate Each Other by Ali Siegel, and the prose 6 Lessons Fairy Tales Teach Us About Female Friendship by Gina M. Florio. Program. Because when we take off the glass slipper to lift each other up, we can shatter the glass ceiling. Since as early as I could remember, I have been subconsciously trained to hate women, and I was to compete with them, compare myself with them, do what I could to, well, tear them down. Karen Smith is one of the dumbest girls you'll ever meet, and the little one next to her, that is Gretchen Wieners. She's rich as shit because her dad invented the toaster strudel. And that is Regina George. Why do you hate them? What do you mean? Did they do something to offend you? They're plastic. There's nothing they do that doesn't offend me.
My mother wishes for golden hair, a love of dresses and make-believe. My friends begin to imagine how our daughters would team up, share secrets, share clothes, share boyfriends. The life they were imagining was a life already lived. Known, warned, used. But how do you raise someone to not exist in the world they live in?
Things I wish I could tell every girl. 1, the world is trying to kill you. You'll never deserve it. Telling you to be ready is pointless. Telling you to prepare yourself is just another way to blame you when it happens.
Seeing women pitted against each other is the foundation of many fairy tales. Tinkerbell basically tried to sabotage Wendy's entire life in Peter Pan because she couldn't stand having a big, ugly gal around. And the stepsisters treated Cinderella like that for no reason other than shallow jealousy.
Caltine bars. Okay, there are these weird Swedish nutrition bars that help you gain weight. My mom used to give them to all African kids. They're these weird Swedish nutrition bars that help you lose weight, Regina. Give me it!
It's all in Swedish.
Yeah, they're high in protein. We love to watch women fail. You know, a breakup, a weight gain, a sex tape, a nip slip. Girl on Go Crime is probably why The Bachelor gets approximately 10 million viewers per episode. We get satisfaction from women looking beautiful but acting crazy.
If I'm honest, my trauma is not in boys. My trauma is not even in a world that pits boys versus girls. My trauma is in the loneliness of being a girl. Those girls grow into women in constant pain, giving birth again and again to the versions of themselves that will please, and the ones that don't pinch and pluck and purge from the scrutiny and will never have what it takes to survive because it is a cultural disease. And everyone around suffers from it. We're all infected with toxic femininity. To stay in stride with other women who know what it means to be women, who once fed and fettered at the top of the food chain, do more violence to us than any man could because they all make it look so delicious. Because she's not your enemy, she is your sister.
Everyone is your sister. The girl with the jacked up teeth and the thrift store jeans is your sister. The girl that used to be called Jake, but is now called Jane, is your sister. The cheerleaders who are trying so hard to kill you, your sisters.
And if you're not her, then you're just a whore or a hag or just a heavyset husband with no one to feast on. You're such that armor forces of evil, the evil saga.
But we should focus on defeating like extreme poverty, climate change, structural racism. But instead, we're made to believe that the most frightening things in the world are other women. And we find it difficult to connect with the strong women around us, even though that is the very thing that will make this world a better place. Unfortunately, someday someone is going to call you a woman, and it's going to be the most terrifying thing to think about yourself. The world is trying to kill each and every one of you. And if you don't hold each other up, then nobody else will.
I got pregnant. To create something new. Maybe that newness is this dialogue.
You are the best thing in every room. You'll notice I didn't say the prettiest. You are also the prettiest thing in every room, but that doesn't matter.
I cleaned up the glitter and informed my women. Okay. She will need us as more than protectors. She will need us as projectors. To show what it looks like to own the conversation. Name oppression as more than a gender, to not appropriate the word feminist when what you mean is masochist. What we need is a way forward with new expectations. What she needs is a way to bend those strings into a harp. Not to ensnare, but to set us all free.
Okay, sorry, I missed your time signals there. You were at 10:08, so you're good.
Our next speaker is Martin.
And can everyone see and hear me okay? Perfect. And then can I just get a 1 at 9 and a fist at 10 if I get there, please? Thank you. I'm sorry, but the school board was very clear. Now, we can't have a gay-straight alliance without an actual gay member. Yeah, but just because we're all straight doesn't mean there aren't gay kids at this school. My future GBF is just waiting to come out of the closet and tell me how fierce I am. Dear straight girls throwing their bachelorette parties in gay bars, please leave. Put down the vodka crowns, take off your penis hats, and listen up. I have a simple request. We need a separation of church and straight. Hear me out. Straight women deserve a place to dance and celebrate freely, but gay bars aren't that space. Safe spaces can be anything from gay bars and pride parades to a queer themed night at a local bookstore. The concept is that it's a safe environment for LGBTQ people to gather and connect without worrying about blatant hate or microaggressions. When straight people enter our safe spaces, it can be isolating and sometimes even frightening. Those places are sacred. Last night, I went to a gay bar with a man that I love. After dinner, we sat in the big backyard and he said, "What will we do when this place closes?" I said, "I don't think this place is going anywhere anytime soon." And he said, "Yes, but one day, where will we go?" Now, those spaces that I once considered safe, they're disappearing. From gay bars and secret queer bookstores to pride parades and homes open to just chosen families, safe spaces have long been the place where members of the LGBTQ community have gone to seek refuge. Places where their identities are validated, welcomed, and above all, protected. These places were and are a holy ground for the queer community. But as straight people choose to invite themselves into these public spaces, they are becoming less and less safe. Professor Melissa Harris Perry writes, "At best, this can mean an obnoxious bachelorette at a drag show. But at worst, this intrusion can be dangerous, sometimes even deadly." After all, it was a straight person who turned a safe New Orleans gay bar into the site of a deadly fire, killing 30 queers. It was a straight person who killed 6 gay men while they left their safe place at San Diego Pride. And it was a straight person who turned the Pulse nightclub, a safe place, into one of the deadliest massacres in US history. It is imperative that these spaces are preserved and respected for their original purpose, to protect queer people, to keep us safe. So, through the drama, GBF by George Northey, the prose, What Straight People Should Know About Entering Queer Spaces by Garrett Schlecht, the poetry, Orlando by Andrea Gibson, Straight Women, Gay Bar by Reagan Fox, and A Poem for Pulse by Jameson Fitzpatrick, along with articles from Bustle, Time, The Huffington Post, Medium, KQED Arts, Elle, and Flair. Reclaiming Our Spaces, a program. Because the sooner that we can be respected in our safe spaces, the sooner we can find safety in yours. Please, Mrs. H. This club is all that I have. Look, just buy me a few more weeks. Like, I will find a real life gay, even if I have to drag that little teen queen out of the closet myself. On any given weekend, queer clubs worldwide are overrun with disrespectful straight folks. In July, for example, a woman asked a gay bar owner if she and her bachelorette party would be safe from HIV. So, forgive me for wanting to reclaim queer spaces from those who are ignorant about our community. A recent example of this phenomenon. Straight people are downloading Grindr. How come? Apparently to make friends. Heterosexual people forget they have ample space to safely feel comfortable expressing themselves. For LGBTQ people, these spaces are limited. So when our spaces are infiltrated, it can feel like our identities are being removed one day. Where will we go? He walked me the half block home and kissed me goodnight on my stoop. I live next to a bar that's not a gay bar. We just call those bars, I guess. And there are always people who are not queer people on my sidewalk. As I kissed this man, I was aware of them watching. After you stumble out of the club at 2 a.m, you can meet with your partner, hold his hand, kiss in public, and no one will give you a second glance. Queer people don't have that guarantee. Which is why we need spaces where we can safely demonstrate our love without the fear of attracting harassment. Not too long ago, I was at a gay bar in DC when out of nowhere, a woman grabbed my butt. Ugh. She said, "You better come here and dance with me. My boyfriend's out of town." There are horror stories of straight people in gay bars using slurs and inappropriately touching queer people. Straight men treat lesbian bars as entertainment. They'll grab a drink and sit outwards towards the gathering of queer women and just stare. Our sanctuary. Gay bars are the ultimate safe space. Or were? But what happens when the one place that's meant to be a haven is instead a target? I woke to the news that 202 bullets were fired into a gay bar in one of the worst massacres in US history. The massacre of people who did not leave the dance floor when they heard gunshots because they thought they were just the beats of a song. We've been negotiating that kind of danger all of our lives, almost everywhere we go. But not here, we thought. Not this safe space. And yet another line has been crossed. First a school, and then a church, and then a gay club. Dear God, how broke do you have to be not to buy people time, not to get out the door when the song goes to hell, when the world drunk on hate decides blood is wine and drinks its fill. And the only place they ever thought they were safe, and the only place they didn't know how to hide it, and the only place they were wanted for who they loved. And how they loved. And how they loved. The gay bar has gone from the first entry on a long list of places in which gay people can feel safe to feeling vulnerable, even dangerous. The world needs places like Pulse, a bar that was founded to bring the Orlando gay scene together. Now, more than ever. We had a dance floor. We had each other, and we had our unburdened bodies. We lived in the world we made, however temporary, at places like Pulse. You know, in a way, I'm mourning, and in a way, I'm ready to fight back. When the sadness lifts and it is time to dance again, go more reverently. more carefully. And this time without assuming that anyone owes you a space that they themselves cannot enjoy. Because gay space can't be your safe place until all space is safe for those who are gay.
Thank you
Uh,
very much.
Time is 10:10.
All right. Our last speaker is Ben.
Are you able to hear and see me clearly? Awesome. And if you're doing time signals, may I please have a 1 at 9 and a fist at 10? Thank you. Once upon a time, there was a piece of wood. Now, I don't really know how this happened, yet the fact remains that one day, this piece of wood made its way into the shop of an old carpenter. He peeled back the bark and shaped it into a little marionette. He called the Pinocchio puppeteers string me up. My elbows jump, my wrists hang limp. I'm everything they want me to be. So beautiful in my button up. To be boy is to stand up and somersault. I accidentally gave myself a black eye trying to do a somersault. And every time I told someone about it, they would always say, ooh, you should make up some cool bar fight story or something. And every time I wanted to say, help, my mom caught me wearing makeup. Pinocchio started walking by himself. With one leap, he was out the door and onto the street, where he came across a yellow wig. Pinocchio put the yellow wig on top of his head, but his father became very angry with him. Pinocchio, you wicked boy, you are not my son. There's something I have to tell you. Because I'm your father, and I always will be. Whether you are straight or gay, I will always love you. Because I'm your father, and you are home. Oh, due to the heteronormative ideas that we have surrounding home, I believe that it's important to always evaluate what it means to belong to, or even claim a home. Especially for queer Asian American men. My parents, puppeteers, string me up. In March of 2020, when my school first entered quarantine, it meant a day of celebration for my classmates. However, for me, it was one of the scariest days of my life. As NBC reports in May of 2020, home is a complicated place. To many, it is somewhere where you can be yourself unabashedly. But for others, it is somewhere where family ties can turn home into more of a hiding place. It was somewhere where, for me, when my mom found the stash of makeup under my bed, instead of talking to me about it, she set it down on the kitchen counter in front of me and asked, "Why are you broken?" For people like me, home has become a place where embracing your identity is synonymous to losing your home. In other words, not a home at all. And at times like these, when home is rarely ever our choice, it is important that we understand this concept. So, through the prose, The Original Pinocchio by Carlos Collodi, articles from The Onion, Racked, Northwest Asian Weekly, the University of Illinois, and A Stranger, the poems Real Boy, Real Girl by Max Binder and Mo Christie, Bruised by Levi Todd, and My Mom Caught Me Wearing Makeup, Help, from Anonymous. A program. I deserve a home. No strings attached. The easiest way to get me to cry is to show me something both queer and Asian. Queerness is so swept under the rug. In my personal experience, Most first-generation immigrants refuse to talk about it. And when they actually do, their responses are often based in harmful misconceptions. I don't know why, but about a month ago, I decided to come out to my dad. And all he could do was seize Pinocchio by the back of the neck and bring him home. Tomorrow, he will cease to be a marionette and will become a real boy.
Now, it must be known that makeup is a very personal experience. It's all about looking in the mirror and embracing or enhancing who you really are. Laura Mercier, lip cream in the shade Spiced Rose. Today, I'm channeling the young Winona look. I'm also channeling my freckled mother, whose complexion I share.
Maybe my body is a hollow instrument carved of broken branches, strings wrapped around my lungs, breathing despite me. My puppeteer speaks until my mouth jerks open. I only speak when I'm spoken for. Words coerced, but call it a gift. I wish I didn't have to be Pinocchio. Pinocchio had one whom he loved most of all. The boy's name, Romeo. In order to punish him for his mischief, Pinocchio was left alone in his room all morning. Pinocchio lost all of his pride and said, "I wish I were a good boy," because they will abandon you or say bad things against you if they find out that you're gay. And this is where the issue of masculinity comes in. In the 1800s, when Asians first started immigrating to the United States, Asian men were pushed into manual labor, so jobs like cooking or laundry, which were typically seen as women's work. Asian men became feminized through the labor that they were pushed to perform. Asian immigrant fathers have never been considered manly enough. Oh, Asian men have been deprived of their masculinity. To speak only when spoken for, because obedience is a safer volume than mine. His movements become my movements. Run fast, walk with back straight, straight, straight. I let it happen. Your mother agreed with me. Oh, you still her precious son. She just want grandchild down the line. All I know is I accidentally gave myself a black eye. What that black thing under your eye? Is it mascara? Eyeliner? You know I don't want makeup on you. But if you truly wanted a story, then here's a metaphor. I was somersaulting, head tumbling through expectations of manhood, and came out on the other side with a black eye. But I don't feel insecure enough in my masculinity to start lying about it. There are two kinds of lies. Lies with long noses and lies with short legs. Pinocchio, not knowing where to hide his shame, tried to flee the room, but his nose couldn't fit through the door. Crying as if his heart would break, the marionette mourned over his nose for hours. Pinocchio can be a real boy if it means survival. But every time I look in the mirror, I can't tell if it's my reflection or someone else's. Gender is ventriloquism. It's puppetry. It's whatever it takes to fool you. And if Pinocchio cried for much longer, he would melt away. Good boys are obedient, just waiting for me to throw my first punch. Missing most of them, but still hearing I should become a real boy, trying to compensate for someone who just tried calling me a faggot. I should become a real boy. His nose snapped the strings, holding me safe and sorry. They snapped back, leaving tally-marked bruises, one for every time queer or any other name, implying that the worst thing for me to be was womanly. With it, to love another man isn't to be one. With it, to love another man isn't to be a real boy. Then Pinocchio, not knowing where to hide his shame, remembered. Good boys told the truth. The truth is This is the only way I know how to be. The truth is, I wish I didn't have to be real to be allowed to exist. I can feel you tug the strings at home. I'm supposed to get married, have kids. But because I'm gay, I can't have that. I won't have that wife. I won't have those kids. And I feel like my mom is gonna cut my strings. My body is so far from any kind of home. Home is Sephora. Home is music, laughing, makeup, books, speech. Home is where you're allowed to be you. No strings attached. Just don't be scared when we break free.
Time is 10:14.
All right. Great job, everybody. Thank you for your time and good luck.
Thank you so much for judging.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.